see you guys again. Welcome to my channel, and in this video I will start cover how arrays are implemented in JavaScript, and I will use an example of V8, which is a JavaScript engine used in Chrome, Microsoft Edge, and Node.js platform, right? Other JavaScript engine like SpiderMonkey used in Mozilla, and I couldn't remember the name about the Safari one. Internet Explorer IE used called Chakata, oh no, Clark or something. I couldn't remember also. Anyway, they actually be very similar, but it should have some special difference, okay, because engines are different when they do. And I decided to use the different parts, and they are kind of like related, so you have to follow the videos one by one to watch them. The reason I divided in multiple parts is because recently my baby frequently check me if I'm there while she is sleeping, and if I'm not there she will cry. So, and if I record the video very long, then I'm going to be interrupted because I have to rush there. So instead of being interrupted and I'm worried, so I divide into multiple videos. And the first video I'm going to cover is array versus object. Have you ever thought about it? What's the difference between them, array and objects? What's the relationship between them? Okay, so let's take a look at. First, array is an object, okay, because we talk about it in JavaScript, it only has 8 data type, right, which are like numbers, boolean, string, big int, undefined, none, and symbol, and object. Why have numbers, boolean, string, big int, what's the none, undefined, symbol, and object? Yes, 8. And there's no type called array. And array is what? Array is a special object. The array, the type of array, if we can do a test, okay? We can do a test. Let's do a test, okay? Suppose, the type of array is an object. It's very clear, okay? Let's write a demo here, which is array internal, and .html, okay? And I will do is HTML base, and here script. Suppose I define an array const ar equals an array right here, then I use cog type of arr, which is the type of is an operator, right? And when we open in the browser, let me show you here. Inspect, you will see type of array is an object. So array is not a special type, okay? Array is an object. And but array is a special object because JavaScript will treat array, this special object, differently. The reason is because there are 2 types of properties inside of JavaScript. As we know, our object can store kind of like a dictionary data, right, which is a key value pair. And for the key we call property. And for the property name, have you ever thought about it? The property name? There's no limitation of what kind of property name you can give. You can use characters, which are ABC something. You can also use numbers, which are integer numbers, like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And for the 2 different type of property names, and the JavaScript V8 will treat them differently. And it will have 2 special names. One is called named properties, and named properties are those properties without any are those properties using characters like ABC, hello world, first name, last name, those, okay? And what are index properties? Index properties are using numbers like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Those integers, okay? That are index properties. And index properties also have a special name called elements. And we are using this term in next video, okay? And V8 will treat integer index properties and other properties differently during iteration. Now let me show you example, okay? So here, by taking the difference between them, first I will write the code, and next one I will using debug mode to show you. Because JavaScript V8 also store them in different places. Since we haven't learned about a class or construct function, so I will use object literal to create an object, okay? Here I use obj create an object, and for demo purpose, I just using some name that makes sense. Okay, so like a code like property what's it? Name the property 1. Okay, or just a code. Let me make it shorter. Property 1. Okay, and I'll give the value is property 1. PROPER. The value doesn't matter. Is the property name matters, and I will have a bunch of them. Okay, and I will use 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, and here the value I also use 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6. Okay, and between them I can have some like integer name the property like 1, 0 is 0 or 0, and I have 1 is 1, and I will have a comma here. Then here I will have 2, 2, 3, 3. Okay, and here I have a 4. Property name is different from the variable name. The variable name inside JavaScript has you have to follow the follow the specification. Cannot start with a digit. It can have a mix of letters, digit, and dollar sign and underscore. Cannot have other special characters, and cannot start with digit, right? But property name you can use anything you want. Okay, 5. Okay, I do like this way. Like this, okay? So we have properties. Now the first one I will show you during iteration. In the iteration, actually it will iterate all the indexed properties first. Okay, you will see all of them, even though you can see property 1, property 2, and property 3, property 4. I kind of like mix them, right? But when we see the result, when we do the iteration, all the indexed, okay, properties gonna be loop first, and others gonna be second. For I will use let key, okay, and use in operator. I mentioned this one in previous videos. Okay, how use let in. In here is the is an operator to check a property is inside an object or not. CLG. Okay, I will use a backslash, which is the template literal. Here I'll use key, and the value, and I will use obj and the key. You cannot use the dot notation, because if you use dot notation, that you're looking for a string, a property name called a key, right? So here, when I open the browser here, I open another one. Inspect console. See here, you will see all the index properties first and other properties second. That is the first part about named properties and index properties. And when we talk about when we create an array, like 1, 2, 3, 4, like this, right? And when we access them, the array is, we access use the numbers. And actually array, you can think all of them are the indexed properties, because how we access 1, 2, 4, 5 here, we use integer number. And that is another reason why when we access values of the array, each element, we use a bracket notation. This bracket notation come from the object. Suppose I want to get the value of the property 1, we use object. You can use either this way, right? And we can also use this way, which is obj, bracket notation and property 1. Okay, like this way, right? And when we use numbers, you cannot use obj.0. You have to use a bracket notation. And that's how the array 0 or array index to access the elements. Okay, that's another kind of like another topic. Okay, anyway, another knowledge here. But anyway, when we use array, and all of them gonna be index properties, because their property name is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's the thing. Okay, during operators iterations, and it will do other optimizations. Okay, in iterations it will loop them first, and then we'll do name the property second. And now let me show you the named properties and the index properties. They are stored also differently. Okay, they are stored also differently. For those 1, 2, 3, 4 in the array, or those property 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, those index properties, they're gonna store in some called bucket store. Some people will call element store. Okay, let me show you how to take a look at them. We cannot see from the console. We have to use the node. If you don't know the node, then you can watch this video later, okay? Because I have to use node to explain. And in order to see the details about an object, you actually the entire description of object inside the node, we have to add this one, allow native syntax. When we add this operation, you can have this method to be able to see, okay, how it's being displayed how it's being stored in V8. Okay, so let me node allow special syntax, natives syntax. This is to open a node repo. Okay, open, or you can say node shell. Okay, and then we can do is I'll just copy this one. Okay, obj, and paste it here. And I will allow the paste because I have multiple lines. Okay, and after paste, then we can use that special method, which is this one, percentage and debug print. Okay, and then we're using obj, and it will give you details how it's being stored inside the V8. And here you can see lots of things, but the thing here I want to show you is here. This one, properties, and actually here also have a properties. Okay, and previously, because the named properties also have three kinds. The named properties, which are those, also have three kinds: kind of fast properties, in class properties, and other and slow properties. I don't want to go deep. And this one, okay, if I remember correctly, okay, so here, if the properties, which is a named properties, here named properties is less than 10, then it will use in class properties to store, which is listed here. Okay, it's not listed this part. Okay, and if it's more than 10, it's gonna have put it inside as properties that place. Okay, so anyway, here you will see properties here, but doesn't include the elements, because for 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, those properties, they are stored here. See here, here, this is elements. Okay, elements. And here we'll have all your index properties. And when we use array, and array also stored here. It's not stored, because array is an object, it's not stored here. And for all other properties, like property 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, they are stored in named properties. They are stored in different locations, okay? And this is all because for the optimization, and for the optimization we'll talk about next in the future videos, okay? And this one, okay, this is this part, okay? And I also show you where they are stored in different locations for optimization, especially for those index properties, okay? And which are most likely gonna become an array. And the other question, have you ever asked about this one? Probably if the JavaScript is your first language, programming language you are learning, you won't have this question. But I'm a Java background. As we know in Java, and if we define an array, or if we have a array list or a linked list or other collections, we can only store one type of data. Like if we want to have an int array, it can only store int, right? If we want to if we have not an int array, if we have string array, it can only store string, only one type. But in JavaScript, the array can store different types of data, right? So suppose here we have a array, and in this array we can store numbers and Boolean, and we can store string hello, and we can store an object like first name and Miss Xing, and we can have a last name and something, okay, and you can have you can also have another array like 1, 2, 3. So basically one array inside JavaScript, you can store different types of data. Have you asked why? The reason is because of what? The reason is because array is an object, and inside the JavaScript object, the value of a property can be anything, right? That's why one array can also store different type of data, okay? And this one I just mentioned here, but I will explain in the future videos. Like inside the array also divided into slow arrays and fast arrays, which means how arrays are being stored. The fast array is indexed, it will have linear continuous storage, which means when we have fast array, the location in the memory is continuous. So when we access them, it's fast. And I will show you what is fast array in future slides. And a slow array is gonna using hash table to store, and it's gonna be slower. And so array inside JavaScript, it's not using one data structure to store. It depends on different scenarios. It's gonna use different ways to store them, okay? And what are they? I will explain next video, because it's gonna be related to something. I have to explain something before that, okay? Yes, I'll show you in the future. So that's it for this video, and see you in next video. Bye bye.